All right, man, peace. So, brothers, this is going to be the next installment in the new series that I've started called Can Black Men Save Thotiana? Thotiana. Volume 2. Very important. You brothers have to learn. You cannot save Thotiana. All you can do is use Thotiana for what she's worth. It's just like a cab. You get in a cab, you don't try to clean that cab up when you're in there. If you sit in the cab and the seat is not as clean as it should be, you just wait until it's time for you to get out, you move along, and the next person gets in. Thotiana is like a bus or a cab. It's for the entire community. If you want something all for yourself, you go and you buy a car, hopefully a brand new car. That's the point. This case right here is going to illustrate many of the Thotiana themes that will repeat themselves over and over again. The lies, the false claims, the allegations that there was only one other man when there were multiple men. So let's just sit back and watch how things proceed. Of course, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Plaintiff Rashana Reddick dated the defendant, but she admits that she cheated on him. And soon after, she found out she was pregnant. Rashana deeply regrets her actions because she's still...
These bros always deeply regret their actions. Ain't that a bitch? The Thotianas, they always deeply regret some shit. After they've created all that chaos. Brothers, once again, the woman by nature is an agent of chaos. The Thotiana is like the Optimus Prime. If all women are Transformers, the Thotiana is the Optimus Prime of chaos, okay? They have the matrix of leadership within their chest when it comes to being agents of chaos.
She's still in love with the defendant, but she petitioned the court for a paternity test because she does not know who her child's father is.
No shit. Might be Judge Mathis.
Defendant Alex Pele says Rashana isn't telling the whole story.
This brother looks simple as hell, don't he?
Because there was a third man involved who happened to be Alex's good friend.
Hey, brothers, you heard that? That's Thotiana 101. Thotiana, she don't give a shit who gets the coochie. Could be your friend, your best friend, your brother, your cousin, your stepbrother, your stepdad, your grandpops. Anybody can get the coochie with Thotiana. Okay, so don't be one of these guys try to date a Thotiana and then introduce her to your homeboys or your colleagues from work, and then suddenly you find out that, you know, Hector, your homeboy at work who sits next to you, is getting his rod slobbed down by the girl that you thought you were dating. Thotiana does not discriminate.
Therefore, Alex has no idea if the child is his or not.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Craig Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Let me hear from you first, ma'am.
Well, first, I would like to apologize to Alex for cheating on him and hurting him.
Oh, please. She ain't apologizing for shit. The reason why you're saying that right now is that, see, and this is another Thotiana trick. It's another Thotiana ploy. What they do is they try to get about 4 or 5 different dudes, and then whichever one is left, it's like Alexander the Great. When he was on his deathbed, he threw his ring into the air and he said to the strongest. That's how Thotiana is. She lays down on her bed, spreads her legs, throws a condom up in the air, 4 dudes around her, and then she says to the strongest, just catch the condom and hit it. And whoever's the strongest, that's who she tries to appease after all the other guys are warded off or told to go away. So right now, the defendant was probably the best person out of all the guys that she was having sex with at the same time.
I want him to know that I really do love and care for him. And
today.
And I hope that we can work this out again.
Good.
Good my ass. I hate when Judge Mathis go into simp mode. Good. How the hell you gonna say good? We haven't even heard the case yet.
When did you cheat on him?
Yesterday.
Well, back in 2017, I was dealing with him and my ex-fiance.
How long had you been dating?
Hey, brothers. Let me say something. When you brothers decide to deal with a chick who has children, you have to understand that there's always the potentiality for, or the potential for, her to have a flashback with her baby daddy or with her quote unquote ex-fiance or so on and so forth. I say that for you guys who enter into these relationships with your feelings first, leading with your feelings, because there's a lot of you guys out there like that. And you have to understand this. A lot of these women, they have a history. And at any moment, they try to have a flashback because they sit up in their house by themselves and they start to reminisce and romanticize previous relationships. Any man out there with experience knows that you've gotten that text from some chick from 4 years ago or 5 years ago asking, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? Why is that? What does that really mean? That, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? That's really just Tatiana code talk for, can I get some dick? Or I played my cards wrong. Things like that. And she does not even necessarily have to be a Tatiana, because most of these bras, the liberal woman in general, is just a lower level of Tatiana. Tatiana is really just the highest level of the liberal female. You understand what I'm saying? So just to get back to the point, when you decide to engage with these females in relationships, you do have to take into account what's going on around them, because they're easily confused and they do like to have options, whether it's side dudes or former flames or whoever. So just keep that in mind. And once again, if you're someone who likes to intermingle your woman with your male friends or your woman with other people who are close to you who happen to be men, don't marvel if you hear certain things about her trying to do things with the people in your circle. You take that as a referendum on the people in your circle if they would lay down with a woman like that. And for you brothers out there, if you're a real friend, a real comrade, a real brother in arms, you would never, ever try to lay down with a female that your homeboy was laying down with. To me, that's dipping and delving into homosexuality. That you want to run up in the same vagina that one of your brothers or your homeboys was just up in. I mean, I don't even understand how you could do something like that. That's why when you read the scriptures, you know, that term nakedness is used as a way to imply that, you know, you're trying to have sex with someone who your father was having sex with. That's really an offense to him. That in a roundabout way, that's delving into incest or homosexuality. You understand? So for you to even be thinking about dealing with a female that your homeboy dealt with, that means that you're not much of a friend, you're not much of a man. And the woman will try to sleep with one of her ex's friends to cause confusion in his ranks.
Dating him prior to that?
For probably like 5 months.
Oh, okay. 5 months
yeah,
you were dealing with him, and then your ex-fiance you were dealing with as well.
Yes. And at the time, me and my fiance had broke up. He was talking to other people, and I began to talk to Alex. I met.
Bullshit. Y'all was on quote unquote break. That term break, meaning I wanted to allow another man to break some dick off inside of this coochie. That's what that means.
I met him on Facebook. And at the time, I didn't know who I wanted, so I was playing.
No shit.
I was playing both sides of the story, and
he was playing both sides of the nutsack.
At the time, Alex will always catch us two together.
You all fall out or what happened?
You got to be a sloppy Tatiana to keep getting caught together with the other dude. I mean, damn. Either that or y'all live in the smallest town in America. How you keep getting caught with the other guy?
What happened? Tell me the rest of the story.
Actually, we did. He didn't want to deal with me no more because I kept playing with his heart and his emotions. And I was wrong for that. At the time, I didn't know who I really...
When did you break up?
Brothers, you hear all this bullshit? She talking about she's no longer with the defendant because he realized that she was, quote unquote, playing with his emotions. That means that he was in the wrong. You know why? Because he was not supposed to lead with his emotions when dealing with a female that's clearly a Tatiana. A lot of cats can't tell when they're dealing with a Tatiana. That's why I make these videos. Okay? That's why I make these videos. You're dealing with a chick who everybody knows, that's a Tatiana. A broad who's too open and conversing with people that she does not even know, that's a Tatiana. A rule of thumb is that if a woman is very easy to open her mouth on top of her neck, she's probably very easy to open her mouth between her legs. Okay? Because that's a mouth in between their legs too. Big mouth women usually have a big coochie.
January.
Of 18?
Yes.
And you discovered you were pregnant when?
In the month of December.
So 1 month before you broke up?
Yes.
And that's not to say that some of these quiet bras ain't loose either. All right? I'm just saying. That's a major red flag. When you have a woman who's too easy to converse with people that she does not even know.
And did you tell him
Yes.
at that time?
Yes.
Did you tell him it was his child?
At first I
Did
did.
you know?
At first I did.
Did you know?
Not exactly.
Brothers, you see that? We saw that in volume 1 of the Tatiana series. This is something that they do. When they're sleeping with 2, 3, 4 different dudes, they'll tell all 4 of them, I'm pregnant and it is probably your baby. Or they'll tell them it's your baby because they don't want them to know that they're sleeping with other guys. And a lot of times the dudes will know that they're with a Tatiana and they'll say, stop lying. That's some other nigga's baby. And they'll try to protest. They'll try to argue. That's why I say every year at the Oscars, you know, when they have the award for Best Actress, it should just go to women, period. Because women by nature are actresses. But it's up to you as a man to understand the caliber of woman that you're dealing with. Okay? To avoid silly shit like this. That's why I make these videos so that cats can avoid silly shit like this.
Pardon?
Not exactly.
Did the other guy know you were pregnant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you tell him it was his child?
Yes, I did.
So you told both of them it was their child without knowing.
Right.
Mate,
Scandalous. Where's Nate Dogg when we need him? She's so scandalous.
made both men think they had a child coming, and if whatever the effect that may have had on them, too bad. Whatever other issues that might come with the belief that you have a unexpected or unintended child. But you should think about that when you're having unprotected sex as well.
Well, the reason why she's having unprotected sex with so many different men, Your Honor, is because she has very low self-esteem. And it would not surprise me if she were adulterated or she was adulterated in some way in her youth or molested in some way in her youth. That's another thing, brothers. You meet these broads, 17, 18 years old. They got 2 kids by 2 different men, 3 kids by 3 different men. It's a major, major red flag that she may have been molested or sexually adulterated or assaulted in her youth in some way. Okay? Leave that broad alone. Do not add any toxicity to her life or any more than is already there. It's not even worth it. Move along.
Well, let me hear from you.
Pretty much, Your Honor, pretty much go off what she said. We did meet back last year, June. At the time, everything was cool, but like she stated, I was always catching them together. She would tell me she broke it up with him, but I would still always catch them together.
Okay.
That makes you a fool. Because she's telling you one thing and your eyes are telling you something different, and yet you refuse to cut it off. He'll try to act as if he'll try to act as if he knew that he was just dealing with a bust down, but your actions are showing different. Now, if you don't really care, then why are you stressing it for? It should not even be something if you see her with the other dude and you know you're content to be a side dude. And I've already done a video about that. This video could have fit into that dynamic as well, of that side dude dynamic, but you know he's not stressing that point in this segment, so I'll leave it out for now, or I'll leave that theme out. Point being is this: if she's just a bust down, then you know don't stress it. Clearly you wanted her to be something more than that. Once again, brothers, you cannot change a Tatiana. Okay? Tatiana gonna be who and what she is. There is no changing of that aspect of their DNA.
Okay, and that's when you broke up?
No, at the time, I would still give her the benefit of the doubt.
What do you mean?
He would still give her the benefit of the doubt. What he means is that he's a simp. That's what he means. Brothers, that simp spirit is very insidious. The simp wants to find positivity in a negative, acidic environment. He looks at acid like it's water. He does not understand what's going on. Then when he gets burnt, This is the type of guy who spazzes out. When I say this is the type of guy, I don't mean this brother in particular. I'm just talking about that mindset. That's the type of dude that you read about in the newspaper or see on the news. Killed the woman, killed the kids, killed the grandma, killed himself. Talking about he was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. These type of guys, they do that over and over and over again, and then they just snap. All right? It's better to be mature, understand what and who somebody is, and proceed accordingly.
Go ahead.
I mean, at the time, we was, spending time together. And I guess I just got fed up with the whole always catching him. So I told her, if you want to be with him, that's good and dandy. Y'all good? Because it wasn't supposed to be that serious with us.
Bullshit. You just said that you were fed up always catching her with him. So obviously you were trying to make it very serious with her. It's just that you got caught up in her little nice girl vibe, her little sexual vibe, and you were hoping that she was going to fully cut it off from the previous guy. So you full of shit, bro.
But like she stated, she was trying to play both sides of the fence. And she's not telling you the whole story. There was a third person she was also involved with as well.
No shit. She's a Tatiana. What do you expect? Brothers, I don't know how many times I got to say this shit, man. The Tatiana has never seen a dick that she don't like. Okay? They move according to curiosity. You know, like how they say curiosity killed the cat? They weren't talking about no actual cat. They're talking about vagina. Okay? All them random penises running up in that vagina kills it. Walls just gone. Smell like a damn garbage can. That's what that term really means. Curiosity killed the damn cat. So he should have known from there. Well, no, a chick like that, she has issues going back to her childhood, man. It's something that you want to extricate yourself from ASAP.
That true? Pardon me?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Why didn't you tell me that?
Because if she would have told you that, then that would have exposed who she really was as a person. Once again, they, like Bruce Lee said in Enter the Dragon, the enemy has only images. When you destroy the image, then you'll defeat the enemy. The so-called black man has to come to understand that. You guys do all this complaining about the so-called black woman, but you still adhere to and abide by the false images that she creates for herself, as opposed to being truthful with her and truthful with yourself about what's acceptable in your life. Too many so-called black men do not set standards for themselves and what they're going to tolerate from the woman. So, I mean, what do you really expect for the woman to do but to try to maintain all these facades and fake images? That's how they look themselves in the mirror every day, every morning, and feel good about themselves. That's before they put on their wig or tighten up their weave and put on 5 layers of makeup, and then claim that the reason why they do that is because men have set the standards of beauty. All that is nonsense. I say this all the time. Back in the 1970s, when the so-called black community was in the aftermath of a lot of the militant aspects of the civil rights movement or the branching off of the various civil rights movements, both men and women wore afros. It wasn't until the so-called black woman decided to follow behind the Caucasian woman's feminist movement that we saw them start to put on weaves and wigs, because they were trying to copy their true leader, that being the so-called liberal white woman. Those are the facts.
Now you're trying to deceive me now. Go ahead.
She's a Tatiana. That's what they do. They deceive. Once again, they deceive, and it makes them feel intelligent that you fall for the trick. First, they'll try to trick you. And if a man does not fall for the trick, then they'll try to argue, knowing that men don't like to argue.
At the time when I found out the third person was a close friend of mine, one of my homies or whatever.
Well, brother, let me say this. If a friend of yours will lay down with a woman that he knew that you were with, even if it's just a bust down, that's not a friend of yours. And I've said this in the past. For a man to want to lay down with a woman that his homeboy is with, even if she's nobody to that man, even if your boy done told you, she's just a slide off or whatever. I'm sorry, but that's a violation. That's basically that man, that so-called friend of yours, trying to either outdo you or to fulfill a subconscious homosexual infatuation that he has with you by running up in the vagina walls of that female. I mean, because why would you want to do that? To me, that's like taking a sip out of your homeboy's drink or taking a bite out of his hamburger that he just bit from. Like, I mean, come on. That's kind of nasty.
I confronted her about it, and I have an audio of me and her conversating, her admitting to...
You have it today?
Yes, sir.
You can play it?
Yes.
All right. You have a transcript of it that I can read while it plays?
Oh, the judge's going to read the Thotiana transcript. We already know what it's going to be pertaining to. Her either sucking somebody off or having sex with some strange guy. Brothers, it's not worth all that. This cat here is trying to act as if the relationship that they had meant nothing to him, but it's very obvious that it meant a great deal to him. Okay? You don't lead with your emotions in a society like this. You can't do that because you're going to end up a very fractured individual if you do that. You have to always lead with your sensibilities, with your rationale, and with the understanding that there's nothing that's permanent in the flesh. Nothing. So please understand that if the Most High blesses you to be in a relationship with a wonderful, intelligent woman for the rest of your life, then that's great. That's stupendous. And also, if you're with a woman right now that you're talking to or being intimate with, and you wake up tomorrow morning and there's some 3-page text about how it's just not working out and she's not ready to be in a relationship, that's fine too. You have to keep your mind in tune on things that are important. The only thing that is permanent is the love of the Most High and the knowledge of the Most High. And that's it. That's it. Everything else is going to change. Everything in the flesh is going to change. So don't marvel when it does.
Let's hear it. This is you speaking with her.
So answer the question. When he what?
Yeah, it happened in the back of the car when he took me home.
So in other words, this is basically the audio of a conversation that he had with her to inquire about the details of what occurred between her and his friend in a vehicle when I guess his friend gave her a ride home and gave her one hell of a ride after they got home.
Then what happened in the backseat? Y'all did the whole course? And what happened in the backseat? Or
All these questions that the brother's asking her are not consistent with someone who was just dealing with a slide off. Once again, brothers, you'll find, and I say this all the time in many of these court cases or these videos that I do, that most of the concepts that I speak about tend to intersect. Okay? Whether it be being a simp or knowing who you're living with or you get whatever you tolerate, so on and so forth. They're all different branches on the same tree. This brother here does not understand the difference between a wife and a concubine. And had he done so, he would not be caught up in the web that he's caught up in right now. By the time you're on the phone trying to get the rundown from some female about the sexual details of an experience that she had with a friend of yours, you've made a series of very bad mistakes, very bad decisions. So just keep that in mind. Once the woman shows you any inkling of disrespect for you as a man, you have to cut her off immediately. You can't fuck around with that. Look at this shit. It says oral again. That means that he's used to her giving out fellatio to various men. Once again, something happened to her in her childhood. Brothers, that's a major red flag. Okay? When a woman is extremely promiscuous like that, will lay down with anyone, that's a very serious red flag.
oral again? And that was it.
And this is your...
Look at this shit. The bro said for 2 hours. What was they filming? Some type of porno video? I was fucking in the backseat of a car for 2 hours. And ain't nobody noticed anything.
This is your friend she's talking about.
Yeah, that was...
And what are you...
The judge said this is your friend that she's talking about. Let me rewind this back a little bit.
And what are you...
And that was it.
And this is your friend she's talking about.
Yeah.
In other words, the judge is trying to communicate to the defendant that you're using that word friend way too liberally. Once again, brothers, there's a reason why in John the 15th chapter, Christ details that one of the components of real friendship is sacrifice. He uses the term that a man should be willing to die for his friend. What he's trying to convey is that for you to call someone your friend, okay, and I've touched on this in the past, for you to call someone your friend, they have to be willing to sacrifice. You guys have to be walking in the same spirit. Whoever you're walking with, whoever you call your ally or your friend or what have you, is the person who you should be simpatico with. And if you guys face adversity, you face it together and you walk each other through those perilous times. Not your friend just sitting back, your quote unquote friend sitting back scheming to see if he can sleep with your girl. That's not a friend, man.
Yeah, that was.
And what are you talking about again? So you had discovered something earlier between her and your good friend?
The thing is, when he found out me and her was dealing, it was kind of crazy. It was after a church service. He found out that me and her was dealing. He said, "Oh, I've been trying to get with her."
Church.
Yeah.
This dude trying to cover for his friend. He said that his friend found out that the defendant and the plaintiff were dealing, and he said, "Oh, that's the girl that I've been trying to get with for months." Well, just by that statement, what you're implying is that your friend had not slept with her yet. But on the phone call, you said again. So that means that what? That the plaintiff had dealt with your friend a multitude of times. And you're having trouble dealing with that. This guy, the defendant, is trying to create this energy around himself like it's not a big deal. But it very obviously is a very big deal. Because he does not understand what he's getting himself into. Brothers, it's very important that once you're able to spot a Thotiana, that you either avoid her or deal with her at your own risk, right? Like there are certain types of hazardous materials that they say handle with care. That's a Thotiana. You have to handle that with great care, because whenever you allow a female like that into your life, all types of negative energies are going to follow behind. That means baby daddies, violence, stupidity, chaos, so on and so forth.
Who all went to the church? All three of you?
Be the freakiest broads in church.
Three of y'all?
No, sir. She goes to a separate church. Me and at the time, one of my homies went to the same church.
What kind of church she going to? What the hell is the pastor doing over there? That man laying hands every Sunday.
Yeah, yes, sir. With that she was doing the stuff in the car.
2 hour man.
And his fiance.
Yeah, the 2 hour man.
Yeah. So at the time when I had suspicions, I approached her. This when the audio was recorded. After that, I didn't have no more dealings with her.
Yeah.
But at the time, that's when she said she told us in December that she was pregnant.
Right.
All right, cool. She told us 2, but also him as well. So it was 3 people she told.
At least 3. At least 3. It wasn't 3 of y'all. It was 3 that you know of. Because once again, that's a bust down. A bust down is going to give the ass to whoever she feel like giving the ass to. They don't understand that word no. That word no to them is a word that they can't pronounce.
So the third person too?
I didn't actually tell him. He found out.
Now, brothers, notice she said, I did not actually tell him. He found out. So that's what the Thotiana does. If she's laying down with 4 or 5 men, she picks the 1 or 2 men that she wants to be the father and starts with them. She tells them that they're the father. And if they end up not being the father, then she goes down the list of the other men in hierarchical in hierarchical order, whoever it is who she prefers. So once again, once you allow yourself to fall into that web or that snare, you have to deal with the repercussions of your actions.
How old is the child?
2 months.
2 months? Okay, great. He won't know about this foolishness as long as he doesn't see the show, and hopefully he doesn't.
But
I wish that were true, Your Honor, and that it was that easy for a young child to avoid the stupidity of their parents just because they were too young. But stupidity is something that is in someone's DNA. And I promise you that the child will be subjected to the stupidity of their mother for the entirety of their life while they're in her abode. Because it's glaringly obvious that she's suffering from some low self-esteem. So that means what? That means that the child will constantly see new men in and out of the house. That also means that the child itself might be subjected to some form of molestation because of the mother's negligence and her dereliction of duty and putting herself as a mother first. And there is a direct correlation between the proficiency of a mother and her self-esteem. And the self-esteem of a woman oftentimes has a correlation between her ability to have a constructive relationship with a good man. So, no, I disagree. I don't think that the child is never going to have to be subjected to the nonsense of, at the very least, the plaintiff. I think that it's very unfortunate, but many of these children are a product of their environment. And your environment is not just how bad the neighborhood is that you grow up in. It's also how corrosive or how acidic or just how negative your household is.
But I also have other evidence with this, or her telling the actual ex-fiance, whatever he wants to be today.
Okay.
Prior to December, she logged into my phone on Facebook and forgot to log out. So I have numerous screenshots of them exchanging pictures,
Damn, she a sloppy Tatiana, ain't she? God damn, she's sloppy as hell. Be honest with you, it's kind of clear to me that she's a nymphomaniac.
The picture.
One of them is kind of him in the shower, I guess, sitting here.
They would know he was dealing with her. The question is...
It's just that at the time, you telling me you had no saying or anything with him, but you're still behind my back, still having conversations with him.
Right, but brother, how could she be doing anything, quote unquote, behind your back when, according to you, the relationship was never meant to be anything serious in the first place? I think that the brother here is a bit embarrassed, and I do have some pity on him because of his embarrassment, because he seems like a decent dude, but then again, you never know. He could be a very ignorant person in costume. And some of the most ignorant people go to these quote unquote Christian churches every Sunday because they're trying to hide the fact that they spend their other 6 days during the week being idiots and imbeciles and making bad decisions. And then they try to run to church every Sunday really as just a dating service. Many of these churches are just dating services. They're dating services for lonely women, for the pastor. For the most part, heterosexual men run up in these churches just to meet women. That's really the only reason why they're up in there. So it does not surprise me that there was a convention for simplicity that went on at the quote unquote church.
In January, to fast forward after the whole December incident, me and the current fiance, ex-fiance, whatever he wants to be, we had an altercation in her house.
Brothers, you hear that? That's another symptom of dealing with the Tatiana. As I've already mentioned, she has a long trail of former flames that can pop up at any moment. And she likes to dabble in former flames and intermix that with the new guy. And that might mean that you may end up in a physical altercation with someone from your Tatiana's sexual past. And it could lead to your destruction, could lead to your death, could lead to your incarceration. That's another reason why you have to understand that you cannot change a Tatiana.
Where I had to be sent to the hospital. He got locked up for aggravated assault.
What happened?
Hey, brothers, you hear that? This dude had to go to the hospital because of an altercation that he had with her quote-unquote ex-fiance.
What happened? Give me how did that occur?
Long story short, I got permission from her parents to go over there. Went there. The ex-fiance was there. She knew the next time we saw each other there was going to be an issue.
Why did she know that the next time that y'all saw each other it was going to be an issue, unless you had been going back and forth with him, probably on social media or in person or what have you? Brothers, there's no woman on the planet Earth that is worth fighting another man over because you're both having sex with that woman. There's no woman on the earth that's worth all that. Okay? Now, you never know. You might end up in a situation where you're with a chick and you think that you're the only one with her, and then come to find out that her man finds out that you're also with her, or the new dude finds out that you're her man and he's trying to challenge you on some stupid shit, and you might have to defend yourself. You never know. But do not allow that spirit of quote unquote ownership to jump on you where you think that you're going to fight another man to see who has the right to preside over that woman. Because all that's going to happen is that one of you are going to end up dead or in the hospital. The other person is going to end up in prison or jail. And all she's going to do is go fuck the third guy that neither one of you know about. That's all that's going to happen.
I don't have it written, but he used to send me threats on Facebook. At the time, I was 29 at the time. I really didn't pay him any attention because he was a child. But I left it alone. But
well, what does that say about you? Her man is a child, or her quote unquote ex-fiance is a child, and she clearly is very young. And you tried to make something serious work with her. a female who clearly has a lot of baggage.
But she knew the next time we saw each other, it was going to be an issue. So I went to the residence. He was there. So I said, yo, let's go outside and talk, you know, just like men. Her other 2 boys were there from 2 other people as well. She has 2 other kids with 2 other people. So my thing is, I said, let's talk outside, because I'm not going to let the 2 little boys see us, go back and forth, because I wouldn't want my son to see that. He said no. So I'm not noticing.
So in other words, her fiance is so ignorant that he's ready to engage in a physical altercation with another man around 2 other young boys who happen to be the product of 2 former relationships with 2 other men. Once again, brothers, there's just too much. There's too much going on here, man. The so-called black man has to learn to extricate himself from dumb shit like this. You meet a chick 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. You happen to be a young boy, or young man, I should say, 18, 19 years old, and she already has 2 kids by 2 different men. Why are you fucking with her for? What are you going to get from that? If you're just trying to bust a nut, there are other females that you can bust a nut with, bro. There's so many fish out here. You know, not to use that colloquialism or that slogan, but there's so many fish out here, especially in this day and age, where just about every female is a hoe to some degree. Just about. I'm sure that many people are not going to like me saying that, but I'm just saying. In general, the average Western woman embraces her hoe altar. They just do. It's not to say that every last woman out here is a slut or a hoe. I'm not saying that necessarily. But just about every woman out here embraces her hoe altar. So there's no need for you to be fighting over a female that has 2 kids by 2 different men and a 3rd dude in there ready to hurt you in some way. Over what? Over some pussy? Get out of here.
I noticed that he had his hands behind his back. So we started fighting, and he had 2 kitchen knives already on his possession. So
man had 2 kitchen knives on him like he was Michael Myers.
So at the time, the fight lasted maybe 10, 15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes of you fighting Wolverine. Is the pussy worth all that, bro?
One of her sisters called the cops, or whatever. The cops came. He got arrested on the spot for aggravated. So I got sent to the hospital. I had to get stitches on my chest, forearms, and my fingers.
Look at that shit. This dude had to get stitches on his chest, his forearm, and his fingers. Fighting for 10 to 15 minutes with Freddy Krueger. Ain't that some shit?
Almost died.
I had the police report here as well if you'd like to see it.
Yeah.
Just Mathis said you almost died if you got stabbed in the chest.
Yeah. I have no reason to disbelieve it. So yeah, you accuse 2 men of being the father of your child. We see what happens. You 1 inch away from death. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Once again, brothers, when you read the scriptures, in Ecclesiasticus 42nd chapter, it tells you, from garments cometh a moth, and from women wickedness. Okay? That's not to say that all women are wicked, but there's always some chaotic shit around the woman or around men who allow themselves to succumb to that energy, man. Always. This dude almost lost his life over this broad.
He's just 1 inch away from being killed, stabbed in the chest. All right, and anything else you want to show me indicating paternity issues or statements?
Yes, sir. I have here her ex-fiance brother lives in my area on and off, whatever. So I saw him at the corner store.
This dude said that his ex-fiance's brother lives in his area on and off. In other words, he keep going back and forth to jail. That's really what you're saying.
I told him, how's everything? Because I haven't seen her since the whole altercation happened between me and her fiance. So the conversation between her and the ex-fiance's brother was, I asked him, how everything was doing. So then he inboxed her right after I saw him. Now, her not being aware that I had access to her Facebook, I see the conversation between her and her brother. It's her and them 2 and other people that she's admitting that I'm not the father of the child.
Ma'am, did you do that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why are you playing games like this?
Because she's a Tatiana, she don't give a shit, man. Brothers, you have to understand this. The liberal woman does not live her life according to care for others. That's why I always tell you, brothers, that the woman by nature is a self-aggrandizer. That's why the Most High had to give them the maternal DNA, so that they actually are able to care about someone with sincerity and wholeheartedness. Okay? because they don't give a shit about what happens really to other people for the most part. They just don't. And a lot of what I'm saying, I'm sure that many people are going to get very upset by, but I have to say these things because of who my channel is geared towards. And if you don't say certain things how they need to be said, the effect is not going to be what it needs to be. Okay? You see Judge Mathis, he's confounded. He's like, why would you tell a man that the baby's not his after you've already told him that it was his, and now you're confessing that it's not his? You don't even know whose child it is, and you really don't seem to care. Why is that? Because once again, brothers, as I always say, the woman in general, the liberal woman, let me specify, is not concerned about anybody else's feelings or mind state or what have you. They're just not. And once you come to accept that, a lot of the aggravation that you really create for yourself will start to dissipate. And cats really have to stop expecting more from these females than these females expect from themselves. Okay? Stop expecting them to be people of their word or to have integrity or things of that nature. In general, the liberal woman is going to say what she needs to say at the moment to get what she thinks she wants at that moment. And once you come to terms with that, it becomes very, very simple. It becomes very easy to understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, and when they're going to do it.
Why were you doing that?
Because I didn't know at the time. I was confused.
No, you said you did know. You said you did know.
Yeah, I was confused.
You said it wasn't his. No, this is an affirmative statement. This isn't confusion at all. This is an affirmative, clear statement.
That does not even mean that the statement is true. She could just be telling her fiance's brother that because she don't want her fiance's brother to run back and tell the fiance, and then she might not have the opportunity that she wants to make it work with the fiance. That's why she keeps saying that she was confused. She don't really know who she wants to be with because she's been given too many options. And that comes back to my initial point, that being that the woman is supposed to be told by her father who she's going to be with. If you want to know why 80% of so-called black women are single in America and why divorce is at a 65% rate for all marriages and things of that nature, it's because of that. It's because the woman is allowed to choose who she wants. And the woman is not supposed to be given that liberty. That's not what marriage is about. Marriage is not about the whimsicality of the woman. And there's a trickle-down effect there because of all that. Now, everyone has to deal with the notion of not knowing what's going to occur tomorrow, because the woman might not feel like abiding by certain things tomorrow. And of course, the responsibility is also on the man to maintain certain conventions. But if a lot of you brothers are having a hard time understanding why divorce is at such a high rate, marriage is at such a low rate, and the rate of single women and single mothers is skyrocketing, that's why. It runs hand in hand with the quote-unquote feminist movement, which is just another way of establishing the worship of the mother goddess.
How long did you know this young lady before you started getting intimate with her?
I met her the early part of last year.
And how old was she? She seems young. How old was she then?
At the time, she was 20.
And how old were you?
29.
Yeah. And you known her how long again? I'm sorry, before you were intimate with her?
I met her for a brief second at a church service. That was...
And how long after did you have sex with her?
A brief second, he told you. He met her, he said hi, next thing you know, he's busting a nut. He told you the truth.
Unprotected sex.
It was months later.
He didn't have time to buy a condom. He said it's a brief second.
Okay.
Literally
months later. All right. And you knew she had 2 children already, right?
No, sir.
By 2 different men at 20 years old. And he met her back in 2017. So I guess she was probably 18 years old back then.
No, sir. I didn't know until after I went to the residence and met her family.
Oh, so what y'all talk about for months? When you
talk about what brand of condom she liked. That's it.
When you dating a woman or you talking to her for months?
And it did not take him no damn months to hit that. That man hit it that day. They met at the church service. Next thing you know, he was anointing her head in oil.
And you know you're interested in having sex with her at the very least.
Yes, sir. You
don't say, hey, what's up with your life? You find nothing out about her?
Hey, Judge Mathis, I have news for you. Some of these women today, You even try to have a regular conversation with them, they'll change it back to sex. You'd be like, wow, did you hear about what's happening over in North Korea? They'd be like, no, I heard about what's happening with this pussy. When you going to talk about that shit? When are you going to be interested in that? A lot of these women don't care about what's happening in the world or having real conversations. They don't care. They just want to fuck.
No, I didn't find out till afterwards.
Okay, well, there you get it. You part of the headache is you brought it on yourself. You have unprotected sex.
Totally agree with you, sir. I agree with you, Judge Mathis. As a matter of fact, the vast majority of the issues that this brother's having is what he brought on himself, because he tried to turn a hoe into a housewife. You cannot save Tatiana. You can't do it, brothers. Stop trying.
With a woman that you have absolutely no clue about. And are you sad and whatever and worried because she is playing games with the paternity of the child? Could very well be yours. You're no telling, but I'm trying to get your mind ready.
Yes, sir.
So, it may not be true, but get your mind ready, Doc, because we about to know.
I heard that. The judge is trying to help the brother out because at the end of the day, with all the lying that the plaintiff has done, it's your baby, it's not your baby, it might be his baby. It might actually be the defendant's child. So be prepared. And for you brothers out there who decided you're going to lay down with a chick with that type of sexual history and that type of mindset, don't complain when the baby's yours and for 18 years you have to deal with this broad.
Get the results. And you're going to take care of your child. You sound like you're a good father to your current child.
Yes.
And if this is your child, I'm sure you'll be the same. You got anything else you want to say other than I'm scandalous, Judge?
Scandalous. She's so scandalous. Where is Nate Dogg, man? I miss that brother. Damn shame. We need him right now for this broad.
That's all you need to say. Judge, I am scandalous.
Look at this broad smiling. The judge called her scandalous and she's standing there smiling. She probably like, Judge, you have no idea. You take me back there to your chambers. You'd be the fifth Negro who might be the baby daddy.
Child is yours, sir. Have a good day.
They clapping and shit. That man gonna go to the bathroom and cry.
I just told him before that he was the father and he didn't believe me.
Didn't believe you done told about 5 different stories. This broad is bugged out of her damn mind. Wow. Her damn vagina must be... Her damn vagina probably got one of them spirals on it like the hypnotist shoes. I mean, shit.
She can continue to be with her fiance, whatever they...
I'm actually not with him anymore.
I'm going to take care of my son.
She said she actually not with him anymore. You mean for today? That's her way of trying to pull this dude back into that snare and that trap.
That's pretty much all I have to say.
But anyway, brothers, this is going to be an ongoing series because this concept of the Tatiana is something that is only going to grow worse and worse. And the only person or the only entity who can do anything about this is you, so-called black man. By no longer taking them seriously and certainly no longer impregnating them. You guys are impregnating Tatianas. Okay? And you know what comes out of Tatianas? Monsters. That's what? Gremlins. Because a lot of these young children, they're not raised in positive environments because a Tatiana and a low-level dude, they cannot create positivity. All they can do is create negativity. And the child is being raised in these corrosive environments. So we have to do something about that. Stop impregnating Tatianas, man. But anyway, peace.